Good morning. Next news. High school cheerleader left with deadly diagnosis after secretly vaping for 3 years. People. Brianne Cullen, 17, landed in the hospital with popcorn lung, a chronic, irreversible condition. Below are your comments. So if smoke damages lung tissue, why wouldn't people assume that inhaling vapor full of chemicals and nicotine is also damaging? I remember when my friends in college said I wouldn't be cool if I didn't smoke and drink, and that I would never be invited to parties on campus again. I said okay, stopped hanging out with them and made new friends. Don't ever give in to peer pressure, it's not worth it. And it is sad that such a young person has permanent damage to their body from what they thought was an accepted type of smoking. I grew up in the 40s 50s and cigarettes were the norm for everybody. I started smoking Lux Strikes non-filtered cigarettes when I was 12. Both of my. The article says it is a cautionary tale to get parents to stop their child from vaping no matter what. The reality is that her child vaped secretly for 3 years beginning at 14. When I was a kid, parents talked with kids about not smoking or drinking. Kids did both anyway. Kids believe they are invincible and that stuff like what happened to this cheerleader happens to OT. Hers but won't happen to me attitude. I'm sure this cheerleader has friends who also started vaping at a young age, and what happened to he or didn't happen to them yet. Now, I'm not saying parents, teachers, doctors, ministers, etc. should not continuing talking with young people about the dangers. I'm saying the reality is that kids are going to do what they are going to do. I doubt that it was anxiety from COVID that led her to vaping. Probably more towards it looked cool in school and amongst friends. I don't understand why everyone seems to think kids can just go into a smoke shop and buy vaping products. They can't. I literally have to let them scan my ID at the smoke shop to buy anything. If they are buying vapes, they are buying them on the black market. My son tried this, mainly because all his friends were doing it. It was a fad thing, it looked cool, or so I was told. After a little research, I told him, you are not a fish, you do not breath water, and there will be consequences, other than your wallet, like your health. 00. He stopped. Blames COVID. Blames smoke shops. Not once did I hear anyone take responsibility for their own act. It's no secret that smoking and vaping are bad for you. Everyone thinks they are invincible until it catches up with them, then it's blame everyone else. Kids can walk straight into these smoking shops and buy them. In most cases you would need to provide ID. Kids make poor decisions. I started smoking cigs when I was 14. Drinking then also. Neither very good choices, and I was a pretty smart kid. You learn on your own. With, of course, help from adults. And you either survive your poor choices or you don't. It's called life. I have never vaped. I have smoked weed for over 70 years with no breathing problems. Edward Bernays, a pioneer in public relations, established methods that have been refined over decades to manipulate public perception. A stark example of this manipulation lies in the tobacco industry's response to mounting scientific evidence linking cigarettes to cancer and heart disease. Despite knowing the dangers as early as the 1950s and 60s, tobacco companies prioritized profit over public health. They enlisted PR firms to deflect this evidence, initiating a campaign of doubt. Internal documents leaked from the tobacco industry revealed their strategy to counter scientific facts by manufacturing doubt. PR firms disseminated messages claiming the evidence was inconclusive, summarized by the chilling industry mantra, "Doubt is our product." Industry figures and their representatives repeated this message stating it is not known whether cigarettes cause cancer, and there 0. And weed is still classified as a serious drug. Even the worst studies with the new strong pot doesn't do this. Yet, you can easily get vape products anywhere. Every person I've heard of who developed this from vaping. And I know quite a few people personally who use vapes or switched from cigarettes to vapes who have been using them for years and have never had a problem. It turns out weren't using vapes they bought in a store, I would bet money that's the case in this instance too, and she's lying to her parents about what she was actually using, or they know but just don't want that detail of the story to be public. What the hell? When I was a teenage boy in the late 90s, my Southern California public high school didn't let the cheerleaders dress like that. Also, they didn't vape or smoke cigarettes. My mother is slowly suffocating from a condition called pulmonary fibrosis, which we believe was caused by decades of secondhand smoke. No matter what the product is, if you burn it or heat it into a smoke gas vapor and inhale it, that smoke vapor will damage your lungs in time. Pretty sure you have to be 18 or 21 to purchase a vape. The lesson should be to pay closer attention to what your grown children are doing. Most vape shops don't sell to teens or they risk getting shut down permanently. The teens usually get them from friends. Too many kids today are so emotionally unstable. She had anxiety because of returning back to school. Back in my day, which was in the 70s until 1985, we didn't deal with all these issues. I was bullied, but I never dwelled on hating or wanting to hurt the individual who was the bully. You either fought and it was done and over with, or you just ignored the individual. Kids today are way sensitive, have low self-esteem and self-centered. I was paddled 4 times when vaping is the new chewing tobacco. I had never heard of popcorn lung until now. Never did I think vaping was safe or in any way acceptable for the young. Now, thanks to this young lady's unfortunate diagnosis, I'm downright disgusted by just how horrible its effects can be so rapidly. I pray for this young lady and her family that her experience with TS outcome will be minimized in any way possible. There are enough obstacles in children's paths nowadays. It's sad that corporate greed has found another way to profit off the underdeveloped decision-making bleep of children, and sending them down a bad path while racking up profits for themselves and air investors. Don't feel bad for her or anyone who does this. Just like my generation and my parents' generation who smoked constantly from their teenage years. A lot of folks develop COPD, emphysema, and lung cancer. You can blame the companies who sell the products and the FDA for allowing them to sell it and advertise it, or take personal responsibility and choose to not buy it and use it. A whole generation of teenagers and folks in their 20s now will need Medicare and disability because of this poison and bad decision-making. An 11-year-old was just suspended for 45 days at my daughter's school. She was vaping in class. Just stop. Kids obviously cannot just walk into the vape shop and buy supplies. That's just ridiculous. I'm 40 and still get carded. Acetaldehyde is regulated and banned for use in vape juice pens nationwide. They made these claims without confirmation, and nobody cares because for one reason or another it's okay to lie to your kids and defame certain companies simply because you don't like them. So she started vaping at 14 to cope with anxiety from returning to school after COVID. Yeah, okay, don't buy it. Most likely started vaping because her friends did and she thought it was cool. Life is so bizarre sometimes. My grandmother smoked cigarettes for almost 60 years. She's still alive at 90 and never got cancer or any lung diseases. Yet this poor girl vapes for only 3 years and gets popcorn lung. That's messed up. I feel really bad for her. Thankfully I never picked up either habit. How is it that mom or anyone else didn't question the amount of coughing that this girl was going through up until she was taken to the hospital? She sure didn't go from a healthy teenager without symptoms of some sort, usually a raspy cough, a constant cough. So please tell me how they missed this. No teacher, friend or family member caught on to this. Something is missing here. She didn't go from a full-on cheerleader at practice and completing routines to someone that was admitted to the hospital. Geez. Thank you to this family for so generously sharing their terrible experience with a teen vapor. Let this be a lesson similar to the Marlboro man who died of lung cancer after smoking the product for years. I am amazed at the number of adults who damage their lungs every day with vaping. They should know better. Well, I guess this young lady finally got a very tough lesson which will affect her health for the rest of her life. Please subscribe to my channel. And if you like it, please thumbs up.